Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and it's your weekly reading for December 2nd to the 8th. Cancer, we have the beautiful Lemuria Oracle card for you. We have the Hanged Man, the Six of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Wands, and the Six of Swords. So some very interesting energies here, Cancer. Big theme of coming back into balance, releasing yourself from the energies, people, experiences that have kept you small, that have held you back. And it's really time for you to, gain that enlightenment or that insight on how to move forward to much more harmonious times. We have that Wheel of Fortune there. It will say that, it's saying that, you will move forward when that divine timing is right. And it is almost here, Cancer. It is coming for you. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. But in your recent past here, double five energy with that Five of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. Yep. So the fives in tarot, Cancer, about conflict and change. So, we really want to make sure that we can transmute or transform any, conflict energy into change energy instead. It's easy when we feel like change is afoot. And a situation might be becoming tense, it might be becoming stagnant or argumentative, whatever it is, to really get caught up and engage in that rather than thinking, well, actually, this is a sign and an indication that I need to make change and, making clear decisions, taking the action to move forward rather than getting, engaged in things like Five of Wands behavior. The Five of Wands behavior can be the pettiness, it can be the petty arguments in the workplace, can be squabbling with your lover, about small things that become big things, like you didn't clean up the kitchen, you didn't take the rubbish out, and then harboring that resent. It can be the office politics, the gossip, all of those kinds of things. It's that kind of energy that keeps us small, because it's petty. And sometimes it's really difficult to get out of it once we're actually in it, and sometimes we get dragged into it when we didn't even want to. That is definitely can happen in many a workplace. Sometimes it's hard to keep your nose clean and stay out of it. But that kind of behavior can really lead to a feeling of lack in ourselves, of victim mentality. Poor me, I'm the victim of all this gossip or this political rubbish at work, this nonsense. Can make us doubt ourselves. It can affect our personal power and our personal value because we've got a Pentacles energy here. I mean, these people here, they are without the things that they need, like clothing and bed for a night, food, care. But they're passing this beautiful refuge of the church, but they don't see it because they're too consumed by their own misery, by their own negativity, their own isolation, their sense of lack, their self-doubt. So, there's really that message here, by engaging in behaviors that keep you small, you can miss opportunity and you can miss seeing that bigger picture, the bigger perspective. And, it's through seeing the bigger picture that we can move forward, that we can change our situation so that we can shift that conflict into change. So this is recent past. Some of you may have already started shifting out of that, or some of you might, still be really in this energy right now. But either way, this is the week where we see a big shift in your energy, and that shift into coming back into a place of balance. And we have the Hanged Man here, which fits in perfectly with what I was saying about that Five of Pentacles energy. It's really the lack of seeing the big picture that keeps us small, that keeps us stuck, and keeps us connecting with energies that are not serving us. This week, you are probably doing some seeking, Cancer, some deep thinking. You're waiting for that enlightenment. You're waiting for that big picture to come together in your mind so that you know what your next move is. Because this Hanged Man is hanging from that tree of knowledge. He is slowly gathering the information. He's slowly becoming enlightenment. He's slowly changing his perspective and viewpoint, seeing that bigger picture to release himself from this situation. He's raising his vibration slowly but surely. And that process, Cancer, is going to tip those scales. It's going to tip you from maybe feeling metaphorically a little bit like these beggars of life here, into, somebody who can actually give and receive again, because they, have the right resources. They're not in a lack mindset. They're not feeling out of power. They're not feeling like they don't have abundance. This is the change that's coming this week. Yeah, so it's about moving into a place of greater harmony, greater balance internally, and then, your external world will start to reflect that as well. And I just realized, Cancer, that I forgot to read out the Oracle card, but I'm going to do it at the end. So anyway, near future, yeah, look at this. Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Swords. So this is saying that there probably will be some sense of moving on, of moving forward, of leaving something in the past that has caused you emotional turmoil linked to the situation here. There will be a necessary rite of passage, but it's going to happen when the divine timing is right, Cancer, when the universe says that it's the right timing. Now, some of you might think, oh, why would the universe want me to stay in a situation that's difficult? It might be painful, there might be hurt. Well, you know what? Sometimes we just have karmic contracts in place. Sometimes, depending on what you believe in, we've signed up for this before we incarnated. We've signed up to have experiences that we need to. Sometimes it's to figure out what we don't want in life, what we're not going to stand for. And once we've experienced that, we're not going to get ourselves in that situation again. So we will really move on to what we truly deserve and desire. Sometimes it's just part of our soul's evolution. Either way, the universe is saying that that is going to come to a close in the near future. This is a 10 energy here. We're also closing out a decade very soon. So the energies are shifting. That Wheel of Fortune wants to shift, wants to turn, and wants to change your luck here, Cancer. And the Wheel of Fortune is said to have a 10-year energy. So the decisions that you make, over the course of probably December, January, are going to potentially change your next chapter, your next decade. But this is written, this is divine timing and destiny that we're dealing with. But I think it's going to see you making a move. It could be leaving a job, moving on to another one. It could be leaving a relationship or a toxic friendship, making a personal rite of passage, leaving some sort of sense of the past in the past, moving into, again, a place of greater harmony, smoother waters, smoother emotions, leaving that baggage on the shore so we don't carry on with a vessel full of swords. Yes, there might be some grief and some sorrow and some hurt, and that is always to be expected when we're going through a time of change, Cancer, because change can be uncomfortable, but we need to go through these times in order to get to, that next rung on our evolutionary ladder. You will be rewarded, and it is divine timing here. It's predestined, so we just need to roll with that. We need to surrender, and we need to flow with that energy. So I'm going to read out your Oracle card now, Lemuria. Creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Well, maybe that's where you're sailing to, Cancer. Wouldn't that be nice? Lemuria, or Mu, is one of Earth's lost lands, where heaven really was a place on earth, a time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lemuria, I don't know how to say that, but I hope I'm saying it right. Life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal, and we were deeply reverent to Mother Earth. We knew that a mosquito was no worse than us, and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. Perhaps you're part of the transition team who at a soul level are devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet now. Thank you for wanting to do this work. Yeah, so that's all about seeking harmony, Cancer, and sailing into a place where you can really be in that emotional balanced state, where you can be in a place of harmony, and that can require this kind of rite of passage, leaving the energies behind that just don't serve us, that are not aligned with us, that are not in our higher good, and moving on to a greater place of peace and harmony. We are moving on to Lemuria. That's where you're headed. So carry on with that journey, as challenging as it may be for now, Cancer. Cancer, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Do keep in mind it's a general reading. It's not going to be for every one of you guys. Feel free to leave me a comment if you would like to let me know how things are unfolding in your daily life, because I always love to hear it. And I'll see you back here next week for another reading.